Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Fan Experience. Rick got caught behind the 3-2-1 there. The Fan Experience, we are on episode 6. We did have a guest lined up for today, but for those of you who are not on the East Coast, we are in New York. Our guest was in New York, and we had a hurricane a couple days ago. A lot of people lost power, so due to technical difficulties, he won't be able to make it tonight. But we will use tonight as an opportunity to fill you in on who we are. You know, obviously you've met me as the host. I'm Mike Katos, and alongside me is my co-host Rick Molina.
How you doing, everybody?
And there's a backstory to even how we, myself and Rick met. And, there's just, the backstory of how we became sports fans, our favorite teams, our favorite moments. And we could also dive deeper into the producers of this podcast, which is Playing the Field. Playing the Field is a sports fan community, and we offer sports fans a way to connect with other sports fans for a multitude of reasons. Whether it's somebody that you want to go to the game with, and maybe your spouse or your friends aren't a fan of the same team. You find somebody that you can relate to. You can go to a game with them. Go have on season tickets with them. Whatever you want. There's also now that we're adults, you can't just call up your friends and play pickup basketball like you could when you were kids. So we want to give you the opportunity to really find those people that want to play pickup basketball or want to play a pickup softball game, or just to go golfing with, or join a bowling league, whatever it is that you want to do. There's other people that are out there that want to do the same thing, and they don't have the option or the resources to find other people to do that with. So that's what Playing the Field is about. And then most importantly, Playing the Field is also a sports fan dating app. No need to keep going on those traditional dating apps and keep swiping through everyone to just try to find that person that's wearing a jersey. On our app, everyone is a sports fan. You're going to know who their favorite team is right away, because their profile is in the shape of a trading card, and their favorite team is showcased right on that trading card. And you're going to have that right front and center, and no need to spend extra money on filters to find sports fans, and you also don't have to wear a jersey, for your profile pictures. If you don't think you look good in the jersey, just put up your best picture. You're already going to showcase that you're, a fan of a certain team, because your card's going to be in those team colors, and it's going to be noted on your card. So, without further ado, we have some business to discuss, some news around the league. Today at 4 p.m. Eastern was the deadline for NFL players to opt out of the 2020-2021 NFL season. That list has grown and stopped at 66 players. And there's some smaller names, but there are some bigger names, and some teams that have quite a few out of the 66. So I guess we could start by touching on the biggest hit, which is the New England Patriots, with 8 players opting out. Rick, I'll pass the mic to you.
Mike, thanks for passing the mic. Thanks to everybody for watching us tonight. Again, we apologize. Jay had some technical difficulties due to the storm, so he couldn't join us tonight. But yeah, man, I mean, big news in the NFL. For those of you obviously who aren't aware or unfamiliar, the NFL had a deadline today at 4 p.m., as Mike mentioned, for players to opt out due to concerns about COVID-19. And yes, the list was 66. The New England Patriots were hit the hardest, with 8 players opting out. And, look, part of me says, you know what? They're looking out for their best, obviously the best for them and their families. They're concerned, obviously. And another part of it is, I'm wondering if part of it is also getting away from Belichick for a year, for some of these players. Brady leaves, Gronk leaves, everybody gets tired. Eventually, when about relationships, people wear out. People wear out their welcome. So I'm wondering if that's part of it. But yeah, they're the biggest hit, but you still can't underestimate them. I mean, they win every year. Belichick finds a way to win every year. But it's a big hit. But I think also a league as a whole, I think, the good news about this is even though it's 66 players, a lot of the big name players are still playing. Ben Roethlisberger happens to be the quarterback of the Pittsburgh Steelers is coming back. Um, so a lot of big names. Tre'Davious White has decided he's going to play. Odell Beckham made some comments earlier in the week about why are we having a season. He's going to play. So for the most part, a lot of the big names. But you look at this list. I mean, C.J. Mosley from the Jets. That's a huge hit for the Jets. I mean, Eddie Goldman from the Bears. Star Lotulelele from the Bills and E.J. Gaines. Damian Williams from the Chiefs. The Miami Dolphins are losing Allen Hurns and Albert Wilson. So
Yeah.
a lot of big names. And look, the concern also with all of this is I think some of these players are thinking there might not be a season, and if there is, there might not be a finish to a season. And so that's the question you have to yourself. If you're one of these players, you have to ask yourself, is there going to be a season? I think, you and I have talked about this. I think there's going to be a season. I think they're going to find a way to fit 16 games into the schedule. But the other thing that was mentioned in the collective bargaining agreement is that we're still not out of the woods in the sense that guys can still opt out. I mean, if they come down with COVID and they're quarantined, they can say, hey, I don't want to play. And if there's, for whatever reason, a family member or something who comes down with COVID, or there's a family situation, guys can also opt out. So this is sort of still, a little sort of a volatile situation in the National Football League. But as of right now, 66 players, for the most part, a lot of the big names are still playing. They're still planning to have a season. And so, let's hope for the best here. But I don't know what you think, but I think this season is going to bring a lot of different changes. There's going to be a lot of new faces, a lot of new stars born, and I think we're going to have a lot of different division winners in the leagues. In the league. So, I'm curious to what your thoughts are on that.
Yeah, it's definitely going to change the whole landscape of what should have been, when last season ended. COVID was just starting, but it was starting in China at that time, when the Super Bowl came around, so, there was a lot of, predictions going, certain ways. And obviously we didn't even know what Brady was doing yet at that time either.
Kind of had a feeling, right? Like you kind of sensed it, right?
Well, I mean, once he signed on with Hulu, I knew it was a done deal. That he was leaving New England. Yeah, I just I find it. Well, let's just talk about the the people that opted out first. So we're at 66 players opting out, right? And now they have 56 positive COVID-19 tests. Players with COVID-19. That is over 2 full teams.
Yeah.
If you think about it, it's over 2 full teams that are pretty much on the shelf. Granted, the 56, they will be back in time for the season. God willing, obviously. Let's
make sure they're healthy.
Yeah, of course. But those 66 players that opted out, it's my understanding that they're not allowed to opt back in.
Yeah, no, they can't opt back in.
Yeah.
Once they opt out, that's it, man. They're out.
But like you mentioned, they can opt out if a medical situation arises where they have some kind of a chronic illness, or maybe they get some asthma, or they develop some kind of a sickle cell, any dangerous injury, and medical condition that they end up forming between now and mid-season, or whatever the case is. Then they would have 7 days from that diagnosis, or a family member being hospitalized, or what have you. They would have 7 days to declare whether they want to opt out or keep playing. But they cannot opt out if they're going 1-11. So
yeah.
So no more Jets can opt out just because they want to. Nah, they're not going 1-11.
No, they're not going to. But look, C.J. Mosley opted out. But I mean, look, he got a $10 million signing bonus in March. I mean, he left $6 million on the table. He's going to get a $350,000 contract. I mean, look, you can say what you want. The guy has a right to opt out. I don't know. You know, you got to listen. You got to give him the benefit of the doubt. He opted out. It's the best for him. So
yeah, no, I'm not gonna, I'm not gonna hate on anybody that's opting out. I mean, this is, it's a serious issue. Yeah, absolutely, and it's definitely their right to opt out. I do, however, find it a little curious that the New England Patriots, fresh off losing Tom Brady, and I know there's a couple that were for medical reasons,
right,
and that was declared, but then there's a couple that a good majority of them were the voluntary opt-outs, and granted, they have every right. But it's just a little suspicious. I mean, let's be real. Everything that happens in New England
is suspicious.
There's a fine-tooth comb when something, when something's rotten in Foxborough. So, and I wonder if, like, is Robert Kraft, paying people under the table saying, hey, just sit out so we can, tank for Trevor Lawrence, or, whatever the case is. Robert Kraft is not. He's not a stranger to paying people under the table. Let's be real.
I get it. I don't think so, man. Look, I just think some of these guys, they opted out. Yes, Belichick wears you out. Yes, I think, they're like, hey, they can opt out. But I don't think it's a conspiracy theory for Trevor Lawrence or the number one pick in the draft. Look, they got Cam there. They got Stidham there. I mean, those guys want to win, and Cam wants to redeem his career. So for me, I just think that COVID is, some of these guys are taking it really, really seriously. But I also think it's just also a Belichick thing. Maybe they just kind of want to get away from that a little bit. But I don't think it's to tank the season. New England doesn't tank seasons. Those guys play to win.
Well, let's just chalk it up as a extremely funny coincidence. Let's just
yeah.
But let's go with the flip side, and now let's go to Tom Brady's new team.
Yes.
The Tampa Bay Buccaneers, with the new addition of Tom Brady, new addition of Rob Gronkowski, new addition of Shady McCoy. They just today, one person opted out, and it was a backup guard. So other than that, it was their whole team is intact. Whatever they had going in, they're still there. So it's like the team that Tom Brady leaves, 8 people jump ship, and then Tom Brady becomes a magnet over in Tampa Bay. I guess people just don't want to miss out on a year of playing on the team with Tom Brady. There was a couple of people that wanted to and talked about it, and then they ended up deciding to stay.
Yeah,
I guess in most part to Brady being there. Obviously he definitely draws a crowd, and people want to play on his team. I mean, look what he's done. Whether you think he's the greatest of all time or what, as far as the quarterbacks go, he is a great quarterback. Will not take anything away from him there, and obviously extremely accomplished as far as in the Super Bowl and things like that. But he is keeping that team together, and it's amazing to look at those two sides of the coin there, with the Patriots and the Buccaneers. But whatever the case is with the Patriots, we wish them well, and let's give somebody else a shot in the AFC East for once.
Well, listen, the Patriots are playing the long game, man. I mean, Brady in the short term is going to win, and guys, obviously, if you got a shot to play with Brady and Gronk, LaShawn McCoy coming over. I mean, you got Mike Evans over there. I mean, the defense is top notch. I mean, if this is the year for the Buccaneers to win a Super Bowl, this is the year. Yeah, and I mean, they're loaded. They're ready to roll. So I can't see guys wouldn't opt out for that. So it's going to be fun. But let's not just say that they're going to win the Super Bowl right away. You got to remember, man, there's some teams out there, particularly one in Kansas City, who's defending a title with a guy by the name of Patrick Mahomes, who might have a say about that. So before we go coordinating Brady in Tampa and the titles going to Florida, let's not forget about this guy named Patrick Mahomes over here in Kansas City. Let's not forget about a tight end named Travis Kelce, not named Gronk. Let's not forget, that they got Tyreek Hill out there. So that team still's got something to say about that. But let's hope for the league that no more COVID happens. My only concern now moving forward, I don't know if you saw what Mike Tomlin said today. He's concerned that they might not be able to finish the season because, like you said, pretty much 56 guys tested positive.
Yeah.
And that's that they haven't even started tackling, they haven't even started drills, anything. So, we have to wait and see once these guys start tackling and spitting on each other in terms of like being in the games or whatever. We got to see how this plays out, man. But I think the league's going to do everything within their power to have a season. I think the teams are going to try to do everything within their power to have bubbles within their facilities and win their teams and try to get this thing to a Super Bowl in February in Tampa and finish the season. And if the NFL can pull this off, I think it'll be fantastic for the league. And the league is just going to skyrocket from here.
Yeah, and you mentioned, that NFL's going to try everything at their disposal, and the NBA has a snitch hotline, and the NFL wants to try that out as well because they feel like it could help. I haven't read too much into it. I don't know if it's actually implemented yet, or if they're just trying to play around with it. But yeah, I mean, it's definitely interesting. But I don't really see how football players are going to be, ratting out their teammates. I just don't see that happening. I mean, there's definitely been a history of, less than stellar off the field issues that happen to go unnoticed, and unspoken of until somebody shoots themselves in the leg or there's a video that comes out,
you're at a casino and you get to a fight with your girlfriend. Yeah.
Going on a boat right before a playoff game.
So, yeah. But here's the thing, man. Who in their right mind on any team is going to rat out on one of your players like that? I mean, no rookie's going to do that. And unless you really hate the guy, you're going to do that. Like, why would you even do that? That'd be like unless you're like one of these sort of shoes, that's not going to happen. I mean, Mike, if somebody has the balls or the stones to call somebody out for doing something, I mean, you got to cut the guy from the team. He's got to go. You cannot have him on the team. Cut him.
No, a football team is too close knit, and that's not in a football player's mind. Like, they're a family. I mean, with any team, but you see it more so with football teams. How they stick together a little bit more, and I don't think it's going to happen. No matter what the NFL says, nobody's going to be ratting on anybody unless it's like maybe an outside player and be like, oh, hey, so I was at the bar and then I saw Brady there too.
I mean, listen, they've caught Brady in parks in Tampa having practice with no mask on. The guy doesn't social distance. He doesn't listen. He doesn't care. The NFL tells him, listen, man, you can't, you got to put a mask on. He's like, I'm Tom Brady. I'm 6-time Super Bowl champion. I do what I want. All right. And you're just going to have to deal with it. So we'll wait and see. I mean, look, I don't think if these guys are going to get caught, it's going to be TMZ catching them. It's going to be some fan taking a picture catching them. That's the way they're going to get caught. But I mean, I would be shocked if somebody picked up the phone and was like, NFL, yeah, I saw homeboy at Magic City. He was getting some wings. Just wanted to let you know. Click.
No, Belichick's going to send out his scouts, and he's going to be like, all right, go see what Sam Darnold's doing. Go see what Stephon Diggs is doing. Just follow him. He's going to have his own PIs out there tracking everybody. Yeah.
Could you imagine the guy who has to follow Jimmy Garoppolo around? That guy's with this girl. That guy's with that girl. What's going on over there? I mean, it's it's crazy, man. It's nuts.
If this guy doesn't have COVID, he's got something else going.
Yeah, he's got something else. We got to get it.
But but it's a matter of the COVID. But yeah, they haven't even started really practicing. So now you have. I mean, tonight was supposed to be the Hall of Fame game, right?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
And they canceled it. Yeah.
So obviously there's no preseason. Now they're going to get into the heart of practicing. Tomorrow they start drug testing. So let's see how many more drop off after that one.
You know how to get around those. I mean, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. It's. I mean, Antonio Brown's out of the league, so we're good. We're good with that. Josh Gordon's out of the league right now too.
But Seattle might sign both of them. So I mean,
Yeah.
those guys don't put anything past them. If they sign both of them,
No, the Seahawks want both of them.
yeah, that's
They've
what I'm
been
saying.
talking about, they've been talking about it, but I mean, let's be real. I mean, well, Josh Gordon, I feel like his time has passed. I mean, it's been a while since he's had that, that really big breakout season. Antonio Brown is a, tremendous talent, but he's going to miss 8 games at least. So, we'll see how that plays out. But yeah, you're going to have to now worry about people getting injured on the field and practice, and then you're going to have to worry about the COVID stuff. So,
it's a lot, man. It's a lot, dude.
You're already down 2 full teams in one aspect, and then you could possibly lose 20 to 30 players in the next couple of weeks due to injury and possible COVID. So now you're like 150 people on the shelf, and that's 3 full teams. So it's going to be dicey coming down to that wire. And I know me myself, I play fantasy football. So I'm going to be watching every single thing that's happening because I don't draft until the end of the month, but I need to make sure that I'm paying attention to who's getting hurt, who's getting COVID. And it's going to be a difficult year, and I got to play because I have to defend the title. So it's so
you hold the league.
Yeah, and that too. I'm the commish. So I kind of envy you at to a point. You taking a year off here.
Hey, listen, man. Like Jordan in '93, I got to take a '92. I got to take a step back.
Yeah, no, I hear you. But yeah, let's talk about some of the ripple effects of some of the people that are opting out. You mentioned Damian Williams. I think he's the biggest name out there as far as who's opting out, other than the Patriots defenders. But the Kansas City Chiefs drafted, a rookie, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, and now he's going to be right at the top of that depth chart. And I really feel like he's going to shine over there in Kansas City because they don't really have much behind him. I didn't even realize they had Elijah McGuire. Did you know that?
Yeah. They picked him up. I mean, and knowing Andy Reid, they'll probably turn him into a stud.
Yeah, but I think
they'll probably turn him into a stud. I'm telling you.
Yeah. No. I'm keeping my tabs on him. I'm keeping tabs on him for sure. Because I liked him when he was with the Jets, and I didn't think he got a fair enough shot.
My beloved Jets are a mess, my friends. They're just a mess. I don't even know where to begin with that. Although I like what Joe Douglas is doing now, he's ripping it up, and that's what you got to do. He's gutting the house pretty much, but last 10 years, you know what? It's heartbreaking. We'll get into our stuff in a little bit. We start we go down that road. So
yeah.
Well, let's talk about playing the field. We've been talking to other, obviously our guests we invited. We had Christian Angulo from the Giants, my friend E. You had Chrissy last time, Julie Salata, Scotty Wolf. And so we've invited people to talk about themselves and their experiences. And then tonight, due to, I guess, our guest, J1NY on Instagram, he had technical difficulties, going to be on. So we're going to get a chance for you guys to know a little bit about us, our sort of passions about sports, our experiences, how we came together, or how our friendship led us to come together here. And we're going to talk about playing the field. So, Mike, let our viewers know, talk about playing the field, talk about this passion. Where did it start? Where did it come from? Where we're trying to take this thing, but just let people know kind of how this sort of happened for you. Like, where did you come up with this idea?
Yeah. So, I mean, I'm 35 years old, so I'm no stranger to dating apps, so going and trying all these different dating apps throughout probably like eight plus years of using different ones. And then one day I was just like, I keep seeing all these, specialized dating apps coming out, whether it's, Christian Mingle or like things like JDate or Farmers or dating apps for dog lovers, for cat lovers. And I went to Google one night and I'm like, is there anything that can match you with sports fans? And there really wasn't nothing out there. And at that time, I was trying to learn how to code up, websites and apps. And I'm like, what better project than, to work on something that actually means something to me.
Right.
So, I just sat there, brainstormed, figured out the name in about 15 seconds, realized it wasn't taken. And, so I was going to go forward with that. And then about a month later, I met my wife on another dating app, as luck would have it. And, I did talk to her about it, how I was thinking about doing this, and she thought it was a great idea. But then, obviously things got, hot and heavy, and, we end up, engaged and married and have a kid. And, then after things calmed down, we just decided, let's do it anyway, because it wasn't going to solve the problem for me anymore, but it was going to solve the problem for millions of people in the world. Right. I mean, just in the U.S. alone, we got 200 million sports fans, and a lot of those single, and it was just it just felt like it was the right time to at least move forward on it. And after I'd pitch it to a lot of people, they're like, oh, but I already have a girlfriend, I already a boyfriend or a husband or a wife, but I would definitely use it because, like, oh, my wife doesn't like sports, or my husband doesn't like sports. I'm like, can you make like a friends feature, and I'm like, yeah, I can, so, it could be used to find your MVP, your most valuable partner, or you can go in there, you could find friends, you could find people to go to games with, you could find people to play games with, you could find people, to join a fantasy football league, fantasy baseball league with, pretty much anything sports related that you love. There's going to be other people out there. I mean, it's not like this is, sports is this like small thing where, it's just only a very small amount of the population that people like it. It's a huge thing. I mean, it's billion and billion dollar industry every single year. This year, they're going to be losing quite a bit of money.
Billion here, billion there, no big deal. Yeah.
Yeah, but I think they got some reserves in there.
Yeah.
Let me
ask you this. So when somebody goes on the site, when they put in their stat, because I think they're like stats, right? So somebody puts in their stats or whatever, and they're going to come up with it's like a baseball card, right? They're going to have they're going to profile pic, they're going to have their stats, I guess, in the back of it, or however you want to set it up, and then people can read each other's profiles. Is that the way it's kind of going to go?
Yeah, absolutely. And so you go in there. Right now, the app is available at playthefielddating.com. We currently only have a web app available. We are working on the mobile versions, but this will work. Just you can do it on a desktop or you can do it on a mobile, and it is mobily optimized on that website. So you go in there, you put in your name, your date of birth. It will take your location. You sign up with your phone number, and then you put in, what are you looking, what are you interested in, your gender, the genders that you're interested in, what's your relationship status, are you looking for friends, are you looking for, a casual relationship, or are you looking to find your MVP? And
I think you froze there, Mike. So a little technical difficulties, guys. Mike looks like he froze from my end. So not sure if you guys can see him. But I'm going to go on a little bit talking about the site as well. Yeah, we it's kind of like it's like you said, it's a community we want you to join and put your stats on. Talk about talk about yourselves. It's sports is the biggest bond out there. Like everybody, if there's one thing that unites us in this country, is sports. Like we follow our teams. We're happy with our teams. We're sad with our teams. We have ups. We have downs with our teams. And this is the one thing that unites us. And the one common thing that you can meet with somebody and have a simple conversation about is sports. You see a girl there, you walk up to her, or a lady sees a gentleman and they're wearing a jersey. They're like, hey, I like that team too. And you can start a conversation and you can start a future that way. I mean, that's what this thing is about. We're trying to build it out so it can be easier for people who are single and want to date, not just Christian Mingle, not just, Bumble, whatever. They can go to our website and they can take a look at it. Mike's back with us. Mike, you kind of fell off
I apologize, guys.
I was trying to talk to the people about that. But like I was saying, sports is the ultimate uniter, man. I mean, it's just you can have an easy conversation with somebody about sports and you can build your future around it. And, believe it or not, I think a lot of couples meet that way. I mean, how many couples do we see, when you go to sporting events, you take your girl and you're there at a Yankee game or a Met game or, if you're a 49er fan, or if you have different sort of teams that you root for, you guys can meet up and go over there. And like Mike was saying, it's not just that. You can meet up for fantasy football leagues, pick up softball games, pick up basketball games. You can start communities like that where you can create new friendships. And it's just a wonderful way for us to bond. Look, in the world we live in today, where we're so divided, everybody's pissed off, everybody's angry. We're trying to create something here where you can meet with people, you can bond with people, you can learn new things, learn new cultures, learn new ways in life. If you're down and looking for a group of people to hang out with, you can come on this site, you can meet people, and this is a way to make you feel better and move forward. So we want you guys to check it out. And you can also talk about your sports experiences. There's nothing like when a team wins and you share it with random people and you're hugging in a stadium and you're going nuts. And there's no other horrible feeling in the world when your team loses and shits the bed. You guys are suffering together. You know what? And this is the place to share those experiences. And also, we'd love to have you on your show to share those experiences. And that's what we're trying to create here. And so, Mike, we were talking about the site. Now, is there going to be? Are we going to do like and eventually people will be able to go to Apple Store and Google or Apple?
Yeah, we're
App
working
Store
on
and Google Play and all that.
Yes, we're working on the the iOS app and the Android app as we speak. So you would be able to download it from the App Store, but it is fully functional right now on the website, and you don't have to download anything. Yeah, that's the beauty of having the web app. You just plug in the URL and you can use it. And it you could sign up. It takes a couple minutes, and I think I got to the end of that sign up process. Where you pick your favorite team, and you upload a picture, and then your card would show up, and the other person's card would show up. You go to the main card deck, and you could start saying yes or no, pass or like, and it's in the shape of a foam finger, as you see in the bottom right corner there. You got a red one and a green one. You could say yes or no, and if you match together, which is similar to some of the other dating apps that people are familiar with, then you could start messaging each other and start talking, and start bonding over your love for the same team. You can also filter right on the main page to only search by a certain team affiliation. So if you just want to see Yankee fans, type in New York Yankees, hit submit, and they're only going to show you Yankee fans. But by default, you will see everyone that's in your area, and you could just keep swiping through, because I personally feel it's not really about the team; it's about the sports fan lifestyle.
Right.
Sometimes it could be a little cumbersome to date, like maybe like the Mets and Yankees front, or Jets and Patriots front. That might be a little bit of a conflict of interest. But Jets and Dolphins, Jets and Bills. Full disclosure, my wife is a Bills fan, so obviously that one works out.
Except Chiefs and Raiders or something like that.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that one that probably wouldn't work out very well.
Bears and Packers, that definitely wouldn't work out, you know.
Well, I mean, it did for Danica Patrick and Aaron Rodgers until it didn't.
Dumped her. And then he dumped her. Now she's depressed.
They were together for like what,
right now.
a year and a half, 2 years.
No,
I felt
2 years.
like.
It was 2 years, and then he was
Three?
like, "Listen,
Wow.
no, it was 2 years. It was 2 years." And then he was like, "Look, I got to move on." And right now, I think she's like on a emotional vacation or something. I read somewhere that she was like on a vacation and she's just trying to get over it or whatever. And I'm like, wow, okay, you know. So it's interesting, but yeah. And here's the other. And then the other thing we're trying to do is eventually when we're going to take this show on the road too. So we'll be doing the podcast live from some tailgates at some games. Obviously, we're in New York, Jets, Giants. Maybe we'll take it on the road to Bills games. Obviously. Try to expand this as we go along. So we want you guys to come out and visit with us and see us as we're doing the podcast and tell us about your experiences live as we're out at these events. But also tell the viewers, Mike, how you want to do like play the field nights, in different bars, maybe at some sporting events. Like tell us some of the ideas that we have that about taking this thing to a bigger and better place. Yeah,
absolutely. And we're going to, like you said, you're going to take it on the road. And I want to get people into games, and we'll get you in there, and we'll have kind of like a speed dating or like a blind dating night at the ballpark. Let's say we'll round up 9 guys, 9 girls, go to a baseball game. You guys spend an inning together, and then you can move on to the next one, and you can build a rapport with everyone there. Find out if you want to see any of them again. And just build on that foundation from there. But it's nice to know that all those people are going to be the same, the fan of that same team, or just a fan of the game in general. They don't have to be a Mets fan, they don't have to be a Yankee fan. And well, I'm getting a little welcome back over here. Thank you very much, Erica.
Thank you, Erica, our loyal fan, Erica. Thank you, Erica.
Yes, the host went MIA for a few minutes. It's okay.
Good.
But we're definitely gonna do tailgates, especially with the Bills, the Bills Mafia. We got to get them involved for sure. And people out there everywhere. Vegas. I want to go to Vegas, and
we definitely. We're gonna we're telling the viewers right now, we're taking this show on the road to Vegas. We're gonna do a tailgate out there when fans are allowed to go to that Vegas stadium, because that thing must be ridiculous. And talk to some people out there and hopefully get them to play the field there as well. So bigger and better things to come as we're moving along. So
obviously right now our options are limited because we can't even go into a bar or a restaurant. And we certainly can't go into stadiums. I mean, obviously, NFL is going to have some fans coming to the stadiums, but I don't really know how long that's really going to keep up. I don't really see it happening if everyone else can't have fans. I think they're really, they're barking up the wrong tree. I think they're just afraid of the revenue loss, which I understand, of course. At the end of the day, they're a business. But let's just see how that plays out. We have four teams that nixed all fans, I believe, right?
Knicks fans. I think the Jets and Giants aren't having any fans.
And the Packers just released today that the first 2 games of the season they won't have any. Yeah.
Wait and see approach.
So exactly. Wait and see approach. But when things do get back into the full swing of things, we want to get out there. We want to see you at those games. We want to hear your stories. We'll come up to you. We'll ask you your stories. What's your fondest memory of that stadium and that team? Just share your stories. And we want to take it out to bars and to restaurants as well. So we're working with several bars around the New York area right now, and we're going to bring that nationwide as well. So you have a bar, if you know of a great sports bar that you want us to come by and have a sponsored night over there, please just send us an email. It's fanexperience@playingthefield.io. You could also just send us a private message on Facebook or YouTube, right where you're watching this from, so that's fine as well. But yeah, we're excited to build this sports fan community for everyone to come, everyone to meet others just like themselves, and just have a good time, because it doesn't really matter, where you were born, your economic status, your profession. At the end of the day, you're a sports fan, and you're gonna high five and cry just like the person next to you when you're at a game. So let's be real. It's the most humbling thing out there. Sports brings you back to being a kid, no matter what.
And here's the beauty of it too. When you on these dating apps and you meet somebody for the first time, right? You're kind of nervous, like you don't really know the person. Like you don't. Here you can, you're going to a sporting event. You're going to be yelling. You're going to be screaming. You can be yourself. I mean, you can just let it all rip and let people see who you are, and it's a great thing. And they're going to be doing the same thing, so you can feel comfortable, totally in your skin, being who you are. And it's not just we talk a lot about football and obviously baseball and the NBA, but it's MMA. If you're a tennis fan, if you love soccer, whether it's here in the U.S. or it's in Spanish soccer, I mean, what we're trying to do is have men and women play the field in every sport, all over the world. I mean, we're talking global here. I mean, it's kind of where we want to take this thing. And so that's where we want to take it. So it's not just what we do here in the U.S. with NBA, again, with NBA, MLB, hockey, any sport you could think of, Olympic sports. I mean, we had, women's professional wrestler, any sport you could think of that you feel that you can bring, that you can bond within the community, sports community. Come on board, join the site, get on the site, invite your friends. We'll come out to you. We'll be a part of you. We'll be a part of your family, and we want you to take the field with us and play the field. So please feel free to go to the site, sign up, put your stats out there, get viewed, and hopefully you can find your MVP.
Yep. Right now it's 100% free. We're still in beta, so get out there, give us some feedback if you want. If you want any extra features on there that you don't see, please let us know. We'll definitely add it on there for you, and we want to see you on there and really make this thing a large community from here on out.
Yep, absolutely, 100%, man. And so again, join us. Join us for this ride, man. We want everybody to be a part of it. And so I guess finally, for me, you started this. This is our baby. I mean, it's a passion. Tell a little bit about. I guess you can tell people a little about your. So you and Jackie, obviously your wife Jackie, you guys. She's a Bills fan. You're a Jets fan.
Yeah.
For the viewers, how does that work? I mean, tell us, how does that work in terms of Sundays? For the 3 hours, you guys don't talk at all when the Jets play. I mean, Jets and Bills play. How does that sort of play out?
Well, I'm kind of adopted the Bills as my, a team to root for. No, I do. From going up to Buffalo a couple of times, that Bills Mafia is, it's fun. The Bills Mafia kind of reminds me of Mets fans. I feel like Mets fans are some of the more passionate fans in the MLB, and I feel like the Bills. I mean, Mets fans don't throw people through tables. So, mind you, we that might be our previous guest Julia Salada's
yes
her thing. From growing up Undertaker and a Kane fan. Obviously I'm a big WWE fan as well, but we don't. Mets fans don't throw people through tables. They just they throw themselves through tables.
Well, maybe what we can do is when we have a play the field, we do a show out in Citi Field one of these seasons. We'll have a couple of fans throw each other through tables as part of a little show out there. So
yeah. But I do like the Bills Mafia. But obviously Jets is number one for me. And on those two weeks, it gets a little hot and heavy over there. I'm sitting there rooting for the Jets, but I'm usually around my in-laws, so it's me as a Jets fan, and everybody else as a Bills fan. So it's kind of I'm kind of outnumbered when that comes, but it's just two weeks, and we get through it. It's not like the Jets and the Bills ever meet in the playoffs. The Jets have to get there first.
Yeah. Well, look. We don't need to go there. I mean, let's not ruin my night. I don't want to go there. But so yeah, man. Well, listen, this thing is gonna blow up, and we want you all to be a part of it. So sign up and come on board.
Yeah, promo code fan experience, and you'll get some extra goodies when the app comes out of beta. So we want to know that you're an early adopter, and you throw in that promo code, and we will know, and you'll get a lot of good stuff going forward. Whether it's free stuff on the app or some brand gear. I got some right here. So we're gonna be selling merchandise as well. So
jerseys, t-shirts, hats,
jerseys, t-shirts, hoodies, jackets. So definitely come check us out and try out the app. Let us know what you think. Also, please share the fan experience with all your friends. Any sports fans that let them know. They can come on here, share their experiences. Share the stories behind why they became a fan of a team. Whether the player, as just a fan or as a player. Let's find out what their favorite experience was as a player too. Where everyone is any sports fan is welcome. In the description, you will see our questionnaire if you are interested in signing up. So please fill that out, and we will contact you on when we can get you onto the show. So 100%. Rick, so let's touch on so we met 10 years ago, 11 years ago now, right? So
I think we met. What was it, 12 years ago? Maybe no, it was
maybe
11, 12 years ago.
Over a decade. Let's just put it that way. Definitely over a decade. And my cousin said, going to a game. We said we'll go to a game. So Rick was friends with my cousin, and we went out, and Rick's a Yankee fan, but we went to a Mets game, and he came, and we just it was a rain delay, so we were sitting in the what was it, the Caesars Club?
Yeah, we were sitting in the Caesars Club.
Yeah, so we're just talking. So just sitting in the Caesars Club, covered up because of the rain, and just talking sports, talking baseball, talking football, and I asked him, I was looking for an extra player for my fantasy football league. I'm like, hey, you play fantasy football, and you didn't play at that time, right? You were just sports betting, right?
I was just sports betting, and I was like, sure, man, I'll play it. And honestly, this is, mind you, I had so we had the draft at your house that first year. We were in your backyard. I remember it was hot out there, but we did like a 16-round draft. We were out there for like 4 hours, and that's where our friendship started. Yeah. Through the fantasy draft, but through your cousin Alex, who's a loyal viewer, and if you're watching tonight, Alex, we say hello. Yeah. But that's how we met, and that's how our friendship started. And over the years, we've been talking sports. We talk fantasy. That's how we met, and that's how this came together, because Mike and I were talking about fantasy football this year, and he was like, I'm surprised I haven't heard from you. I was like, look, to be honest with you, I think I'm going to take a year off just because I had so much going on the outside. We got COVID, situation's a little different now, and I wasn't sure if there was going to be a season. And as our conversations going on, you had met, you were talking about playing the field, and we were talking about how it's going. And I don't know how it came up, but you mentioned something about a podcast, and I was like, it's funny because I was thinking about doing a podcast, and we're like, why don't we do it? You were like, you want to co-host? And I was like, yeah, let's co-host. And that's how this started. And we're already like, this is week 3, six episodes in of our series. Yep. And it's going great. So, it was sports that united us. I mean, it was sports that brought us together. It was, mind you, and I'm a diehard Yankee fan, and that we met at a Met game at the Caesars. And I think who else was there with us? A couple of my friends were there. Yeah. I think your buddy. Yeah, it was a few people were there. Yeah, and that's
definitely a couple people.
Yeah, and that's how this is all started. So sports can bring you together in so many ways that it led to the collaboration, and it's great, man. And I'm enjoying doing it with you. It's a lot of fun. It's we're gonna take this thing to places, but that is how our friendship blossomed here.
Yeah, it's absolutely a lot of fun doing the podcast. I mean, regardless of the Mets versus Yankees, that's what makes it more fun, though. I feel like
It does.
I feel like it makes it a little bit more fun because we could still relate on the Jets.
Right.
So we're not totally at each other's necks there.
And I mean, and I'm a Knicks fan, obviously. I'm like, and that's the other thing for people who know me, like my friends. I'm a diehard Knicks fan. Like it's Jets, the Knicks, and the Yankees. And I don't know what it is. Maybe because I like torture. I just like to like abuse myself, and I like misery and agony. But that's why I'm a Knicks fan. But I'm like also a devout diehard Knicks fan.
Well, I'm a
So
Mets, Jets, and Knicks. So
right.
you have the Yankees at least to to keep you off the ledge, and I have.
How is it that we live in New York and like we have what 9 sports teams in the era and only one is not even because the Yankees haven't won since 2000 what 9?
Yeah, 2009.
So
Yeah.
none of our teams can win, dude. None of them.
Well, let's see about the Islanders.
Oh yeah, I guess.
Let's see what the Islanders
I'm sure.
can do.
Sure, our fan Scotty over there is happy with that. So
Yeah, I think he's a little bittersweet. I mean, he doesn't get a ring.
no, he does get a ring, but
he doesn't get a ring though. That would
here.
be
It's here.
Yeah, he gets a ring in here exactly.
Yeah.
Hey, Scotty, you can get a ring. You can just find your MVP on Play the Field Dating, and marry her, and you get a ring right there. So there you go.
100%.
Exactly. That's better than a championship ring.
Scott.
Yeah. So I mean, we met at the game, and it's pretty much that was history. We just kept talking. Whether it was fantasy or be like, hey, who you betting on this week? Like.
For those of you who don't know, me and Mike have a little bit what you call a gambling problem. Only on Sundays during the football season. So,
yeah, just football. I've learned my lesson. I will not bet on baseball again. I won't go down that road again. And 100%. Say why. I feel dirty from even doing that. So yeah, it's it's been a fun 10 years, and we're gonna go 10 more. 10 more. We'll bring this on the road and make this a thing for the next decade here.
Exactly. So for all you tailgaters out there, whatever sport it is in, I don't care if it's soccer, even MMA. We'll find a way to get to an MMA event, and you'll see the Play the Field banner out there. Come along, come see us, share your experiences, and we'd love to have you on.
Yeah, you tell us where do you want us to come to, and let us know, and we'll be there as soon as we're able to.
Yeah.
CDC wise.
We're not stopped at a checkpoint for COVID, but I think
exactly. I mean, hopefully I mean, what do we got? Like 36 states now with the 14-day quarantine. It's getting crazy, but please, everybody, stay safe out there. Please take all the precautions that you have to, and let's get through this so we can go back to watching sports games live and in the stadium. We miss it, and we know that you miss it too. And let's just find a way to get back out there, and for you to meet other people when going to the game. So make it a lot better. And like Rick said, it's to have like a date at a game is, you don't have to worry about, people, this catfish culture that, the people are scared of. You're going to have security, every single square inch of those stadiums, where you're in a public place, so you don't have to be worried about that. And you're going to be yourself because you're just going to be rooting for your team. You don't have to go. I've never liked the whole dinner and a movie thing or anything like that. Like, the traditional, I never did that. So, I mean, my first date with my wife was dinner, and then we went bowling. So, like, right there.
She's a winner.
There has to be some kind of competition.
Jackie's right there.
And I'm pretty sure I beat her down two games, I think.
You didn't let her win at least one. You didn't let her
or
win
at least that's how I remember it. But I'm sure after this show she's gonna be like, that's not how it went.
100%. Yeah.
She could comment if I'm wrong.
Listen, but dinner and a date's not bad. It's fun. I like dinner and a date. But you're right, man. Like if you're in a suit or if you're like kind of dressed up, I mean, you're just like it's different. Like if you're meeting a girl, at a sporting event, you're gonna yell, you're gonna spill beer on yourself, you're gonna go nuts. Like that's a keeper right there. Like that is the perfect dating experience right there.
You have everyone, if your girl's gonna be chugging, it's gonna be frowned upon if it's at the dinner table. But if it's at a game, everyone's gonna cheer her on, and you're gonna be like, oh, that's the girl. That's the girl, right?
Well, you take pride in her. Be like, that's my girl. Look at that. She just knocked down a 16-ounce beer in one shot. That's my girl.
The venue matters, people. And there is a lot of female fans out there, so don't think that there's not. So get out there, go onto the site, sign up, put in your favorite teams, put in your profile picture, and just play the field.
We'll blow the whistle and you take the field. And with that, we go to news and notes.
Yes, news and notes. So we touched on the COVID players and the opt-outs. What we got? LeBron's sitting out tonight.
LeBron's hurt his groin. That's not going to stop him. They're still going to win.
Yeah, no, he'll be fine. I mean, they already clinched. I mean, technically, he's got some couple weeks that he can rest up if he needs to.
They're going to be fine.
We missed it last episode, but Sabrina Ionescu of the New York Liberty, she's out for about a month, after breaking her ankle, grade 3, I believe. And, so obviously she's going to be an up-and-coming talent. For anyone that doesn't know, she was the number 1 overall pick in the WNBA draft this past offseason. And, great things are expected out of her. And we will see them, but we have to wait at least a month now.
Yeah, that's pretty tough for them. She's number 1 pick, just getting started, rolls her ankle, grade 3 sprain. So that's tough for her. But I mean, look, the WNBA is growing at a tremendous pace, man, and the basketball's faster, it's more athletic. I mean, you watch it, so it's just, at least for a New York fan, another team that's kind of not doing well. But we hope for the best for Sabrina. She can come back and lead the Liberty to great things. So, yeah. But that's got to be that sucks, man. Like was that her first second game? I think that happened.
Was it second? I don't know. I think it was like a weekend.
Yeah, for her to roll her, and that's like a grade 3 is like a 4 to 6 week recovery, man. That's tough to come back from.
Yeah, absolutely. But on brighter news for basketball, we mentioned that 56 players tested positive for NFL, and NBA has 0 positive tests inside the bubble. So we reiterate again, the bubble is working.
Yes.
So, it was, people were like, when they first came out with that idea, they're like, they're crazy. How are you going to do that? It's not going to work. Well, the critics really can't say anything now because, MLB is not looking good as far as this COVID situation goes. And the NFL hasn't really started off on a good note just yet, but, we still got a month. So let's see what the next month brings for that. But NBA and NHL have been passing with flying colors right now.
Well, it goes to show leadership matters, man. And, Gary Bettman and Adam Silver, they really thought, you could see it. They thought this through. They're like, look, we got to keep these guys in some sort of isolated environment where they don't go out or they can't do this. They can't, unless you're Lou Williams and you decide to go to Magic City for some wings. But they did the right thing. They kept they're keeping their guys in the bubble. They're testing them every day. guys are doing the right thing, and you can see it. Nobody's getting sick. They're able to play the games. Mind you, there's no fans there, but they're going to get these seasons in. And and as far as the NFL and Major League Baseball goes, it's a little different, man. It's a little more sort of like, we'll take it as it goes, and we're going to trust our players, but and we don't know if they're going to be able to finish these seasons. So kudos to the NBA and the NHL for having the foresight and thinking these things through and creating these bubbles where these guys can play, they can stay healthy, they can stay safe, and they can finish the season and give the fans what they want. I mean, but you know what? I was thinking this. I still think it's just going to be weird. Like, even let's say the Lakers win the title, like I don't know that it's going to be like the same. Like, like if we had like a finished out the season, I don't know. What do you think? I just feel like it's like, all right,
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely not gonna have the same, the same feeling. But either way, I don't think it's like an asterisk on the season.
Oh, I think it's an asterisk, man.
Because I mean, they were well out in front of everything anyway.
I know, but
but who did they really lose? Like the NBA, who did they really lose? Like NFL, I would think is more of a questionable than the NBA is, because NFL has already had 66 players opt out.
Right.
So that changed the whole landscape of the whole league. I mean, granted, a lot of them were backups. Not too many were starters, except for a lot on the Patriots front. The Dolphins, 2 starting wide receivers, that was a big one. Chiefs starting running back. But for the most part, it was secondary players and things like that. As probably like half of them, I would say, were probably backups and things like that. So, but needless to say, that's still a big difference from what it would have been if there was no COVID.
Right. But here's the other thing. Like, every year guys get hurt in the NFL, right? So if you think about it, let's say 2 or 3 guys on each team. What do you got? 32 teams in the NFL? Is it 30? No, it's not 32. 32? No.
32, yeah.
NFL, 32 teams? Yeah. So you figure if 2 guys on each team get hurt every preseason, you're looking at about 64 guys getting hurt. So that, if you look at it that way, it's kind of normal. I mean, obviously these guys are opting out.
Yeah,
but I don't know.
Who's to say that those same 64 don't get hurt again? And now we're looking at over 120 on just opt-outs and injuries.
Right.
That's quite a big chunk right there. But
but I
think MLB you could make the case for, NFL you can make the case for. I don't see it for the NBA and the NHL, because their seasons had already started. They were full go. Then they just had to pause, and now they're just restarting where they left off. MLB and NFL are starting anew with this new, inside the pandemic, and it's that I would say warrants more of an asterisk than the bubble sports.
I don't know, man. For me, I think this year's just been I think it's all asterisks. I mean, something about it, like, it just doesn't seem to me like, who knows what, I mean, look, I still think the Lakers are going to win. They're the best team. LeBron's been playing lights out. But who knows? I mean, the Clippers were hot. Teams are rolling. Houston was playing all right. But I just think, for me, it's like, it's an asterisk season. It's just, you just, there's no other way to put it, man. I mean, with all that's going on, to me, it's an asterisk season.
Yeah, I mean, really, I guess we'll agree to disagree on that one. And if the Mets were to have won a World Series, which they're not going to now, I know that. Yeah. I mean, they are pathetic.
The word is brutal. That's the word, brutal.
No, that's way too nice of a word.
They suck, man.
They really do. Yeah, and obviously, not even with just the Cespedes thing. It's just, I mean, how do you lose a game when you're up 10-2? I mean,
Hey, man, how do you blow a 7-game lead with 17 to play? Only the Mets.
listen.
Speaking of the Mets,
How do you lose best of 7 series when you're up 3-0? All right. You
yeah,
want to come at me, man?
I can count the ways. A-Rod hitting into a line drive in Game 4 that got caught. Tony Clark with a double down the line that went, I think it went over. Did it hit the wall? Almost went over, hit the wall, something like that, where he should have, like, a run should have scored. And
Bronson Arroyo arm chop.
Oh, Bronson Arroyo arm chop, yeah. Mariano giving up the stolen base to Dave Roberts. All right, enough of that. So
Big Papi being Big Papi.
Yeah. Speaking of the Mets, once again, our friend A-Rod and Jennifer Lopez, J-Rod as we call him on this show, were out at Citi Field recently getting a private VIP tour of the facilities. Now, this bodes well for them because this means that they are in the running to buy this team. Now, I want to know your thoughts about this because you and I have talked about this, and we've talked about we want Cohen, especially for you. For you, I want to see somebody like Cohen. Well, what do you think? You think J-Rod and J-Rod had the inside track on buying the team?
J-Rod and Alo.
J-Rod and Alo. That's a new one. Yeah, J-Rod and Alo.
No, I mean, if it's a bidding war, I don't see how Steve Cohen loses. But I like I said, I mean, I'm good with the J-Rod and the Kelseys and there was DeMarco Murray's in there, and obviously another bunch of investment firms behind there as well. I'm okay if they end up getting them, right, but I would much rather Cohen. And there's 7 pre-approved bidders. I don't know who the others are. I haven't really dove. Yeah, in the article yesterday it said there's 7 pre-approved. But J-Rod and Cohen are leading the pack.
Right. I think they want to sell the team to J-Rod. I mean, I really think that's what they want to do. Like, they want J-Rod. They want that star power. They want J-Lo at the stadium. I mean, dude, her alone being at the stadium is going to fill that place till the 7 train.
Yeah, and I mean, look at what's been happening, though. You got Patrick Mahomes buying part ownership into the Kansas City Royals. Now you got The Rock buying an entire league for himself. So it's like we mentioned last episode, like it's this new, it's not these hedge fund people. It's not these oil tycoons anymore. They wave. But I do think that A-Rod and J-Lo can do good things with the Mets. But my only issue with them is, they're not going to be the ones signing the checks. Yeah, I think they're putting in. I think I read like $300 million of their own money, but we're talking $2 billion.
Right.
So that's not a lot compared to what the actual price of the team is going to cost them. And is it going to be 5 years for them? And if Cohen buys it, is he going to say, I need it right now, or I'm dropping out? So I don't know. I don't know when are we going to find out? Like, they just keep.
I don't know, man.
It's just like the Wilpons. They just.
Well, look, they got to go through all the bids, and they got to go through all the finances and all the paperwork and all this stuff. I mean, I'm surprised to hear that they're actually 7. But look, at the end of the day, it comes out. I think it's going to come down to Cohen and J-Rod.
Yeah. Well, Steve Cohen can walk in there with the $2 billion and
cash.
There's no checking on the finances. The guy could walk into the building and just
write a check
on the table. No, because the check gets dicey. Then you have to wait.
Right. Yeah. In case it bounces. But here's the thing: that guy is a hedge fund guy. That guy's and he's had some issues with the SEC and some insider trading stuff. So that's also a little dicey right now. I mean, from what I can tell, he's got the inside track. Right, he's got the inside track. But I'm starting to think that they want to sell this team to J-Rod, and they're trying to find a way to get it to him. But Cohen standing in their way. And the other thing is J-Rod, they want us, do something with Willets Point with all those junkyards over there, and they want to build up that property.
Yeah, they were looking into
doing that. I think that would be great for that area, man.
Absolutely. They've been talking about that for a decade now.
Decade already. They were supposed to do it when they built Citi Field the first time.
Yeah, I know. I know that. But, it didn't happen. So let's see. Is J-Rod going to do it and really make it a nice little area over there? I think, I think so. They'll rename blocks like Jenny's block over there.
Block. Jenny on the rock. A-Rod away. Yeah. Rodriguez way. Lopez
and J-Rod way. Yeah, I mean, they definitely need to do something with that area for sure. I mean, it's such an eyesore. I mean, I want to have like a Yorkie way like the Red Sox have. Like some kind of something over there where it's just like a nice strip of just like bars and just hanging out.
That would be nice. They got Mulcahy's there now. It's the only thing they got there now. But it'd be nice if they were to build that up. But remember, you got all those small businesses over there who are gonna take those people, whatever that Queens, whatever it is, they're gonna fight it in court, until they can't anymore. But you're right, man. They got to do something with that. They got to make that more commercial, more residential, more more bars, build that area up and have be able to people go there, have a safe, good time. Have something like I don't know if you've been to Fenway, but after Fenway, right, you got Lansdowne Street, you got Yorkie Way. You can go further down. There's like an avenue of bars over there you can go to as well. You can have a good time there, man. So that's hopefully that's what the Mets can do.
Yeah, absolutely. What do we have? What else did we have? News and notes wise, I think.
Ben Simmons hurt his knee. The guy can't shoot. He can't stay healthy. I mean, what else is there to say, man? I mean, the Sixers, they got Embiid, they got Simmons. I think they still have Tobias Harris, and they still can't figure it out, man. Still can't figure it out.
Yeah. Well, touching back on the opt-outs, the Giants had a cornerback opt-out, Sam Beal.
Hey, that's good for our boy Chris Angulo. Chris, if you're out there watching, man.
That's what I was gonna say. I really hope that that bodes well and gives our boy Christian a chance. We want to see this kid shine. He was on our first episode. Love the work ethic that he has. And the way he approaches the game. So we wish nothing but good things for him. And there's one person out of the way for him right now. So fingers crossed for him.
They moved up one spot on the depth chart, so that's a good thing.
Yeah. And I know you didn't really like the article the other day about the Giants secondary.
Whoever wrote that, you should be fired. What's wrong with you? What's the matter with you, bro? Our boy's out there. He's gonna make the team.
Yeah. You didn't even mention him in the article, so
exactly.
Yeah. Well, so of course you're gonna be wrong. You don't even know what he's capable of. So yeah, get out of here with that. All right. So that is it for this week.
That wraps it up.
Two great guests next week. Same time, same place, Tuesdays and Thursdays, 9 p.m. Eastern, YouTube and Facebook. Please subscribe to both channels. Please visit playthefielddating.com. And please look at the description above or below this, depending on where you're watching it, and fill out our questionnaire. And we'd love to have you on the show. Just share your fan experiences. And until next time, have a good weekend, everybody, and enjoy the weekend of sports.